It's time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online for all your website needs at sonicwebstudios.com. The Mike Wagner Show brings you interesting people doing interesting things all across the globe. Now, let's get started on the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com. Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at Sonic Web Studios for all your needs. Looking for a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support at sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com, also on Facebook page at facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. And you can also listen to the Mike Wagner Show. Also download and listen on SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And don't forget to take us wherever you go. That is the Mike Wagner Show. And calling from California here, he's part of the group called Once Upon a Time called Murph and the Magic Tones, and he's here to promote a new album. Just testing everybody here. He's been in a couple of Blues Brothers films, the original and also the 2000, and he's also been in quite a number of features as well, too. Mothman Prophecies, Cowboy Bebop, and many, many more. And not only he's just an actor, he's also a musician and a voiceover talent featured on many, many works. And, of course, his father is a very prominent person in the Chicago area. So we'll talk about that. Ladies and gentlemen, live from California, where they say it never rains, and I'm sure he's probably strangling Albert Hammond by now, Murphy Dunne. Murph, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for being part of a mission from God.
Well, that's pretty funny. Hi, Mike. It's Murphy.
That's right, Murphy. I'm used to calling you Murph on the Blues Brothers, but we will call you Murphy this time. So,
whatever is easy for you, it's not a problem for me. Call me. The old joke is, don't call me late for dinner. You know.
Oh, that's right. Yes, I got to remember that one. Of course, you've been an actor, keyboardist. You play in the Blues Brothers, Mothman Prophecies, Cowboy Bebop, and your dad is a very prominent Chicago political figure, George Dunne, part of the Cook County Board of Commissioners and Park District Board. And you also got a couple of ventures on the way here. But first of all, tell us you got started in your acting and music career.
Well, thank you for mentioning my dad, who's been gone for a couple of years now, but he ran Cook County, and he was a Democrat, and a terrific guy. You would have loved him. Nevertheless, I'll get to your answer. There's a theater in Chicago called Second City. You may have heard of it. It's where I met John Belushi and Bill Murray, and a lot of famous actors came from there. And it is a springboard for improvisation. And besides Bill Murray, there's Alan Alda, Mike Nichols, Elaine May, Ed Asner, just tons and tons of people who are Joan Rivers, people who got into this business through improvisation, and it's located at 1616 North Wells Street. There's also one in Toronto, but 1616 North Wells I remember because it was the year Shakespeare died. But I wasn't around then, and so I started taking classes there. And then I had a friend who was in a touring company, and he said, Murph, we're looking for a piano player who can play background music for the scenes that we do, and I can arrange free lessons, acting lessons for you if you play the piano. So that was in essence, I think that was in the mid-'60s, how I started one of my first jobs playing the piano. And then after about a year, the director of the company said, here's a script, run these lines with Hiram, who was my friend, and I said, I don't need the script, I know the lines. He said, you do? And I said, yeah, I've been around long enough to to get them. He said, okay. And he said, next time we do this scene, you're going to go up and do it. So I did, and that kind of was the springboard for my acting and for my piano playing professionally. So that's kind of the short answer.
That is interesting, too. And, of course, what influenced you to get into acting as well, too, and music before you joined Second City?
I loved Jerry Lee Lewis, and I loved Ray Charles, and basically rhythm and blues. It made me happy, and there were just so many instrumentalists that I truly loved. Classical music as well, and if you possess a talent, you really have if you're a guy, you really like to show it off, not just because you want to get people's feedback, but because women are fun. And you may not have known that, but ladies are fun to hang out with, and if they find out that you have, you can make them laugh, or you can entertain them, your chances of spending more time with women exponentially increases. So, a person with an active libido needs all the inspiration they can get, and I pursued that, and I've been very fortunate in that area.
I think that's a really good idea for those men out there having trouble meeting ladies. And I think with comedy and music, I think they need to pursue. That's a really good idea. And of course, speaking of comedy and music and everything else, what did your dad, George Dunne, think about you going into acting and music, especially at Second City?
Well, he didn't want me necessarily to do it when he was alive. He thought that I should go into a business that could afford me a retirement, and I think he wanted me to go into politics like he was in, and I did enjoy it. I liked the people that he associated with. They were fun people, and he was very successful. And hanging out with them, I met a lot of famous people, and it was great fun, and I enjoyed it. But I thought I'd go into show business because the nature of politics is such that you have to, in some cases, be nice to people who aren't nice to you. Mm-hmm. And I thought that wouldn't be the case in show business, but I was wrong. Because there are directors and there are producers and there are casting people who can be not so nice to you. And, it's been just a few times that it's happened to me, but for the most part, and most people who are, especially people who are successful, have been extremely kind and fun to be with, like Mel Brooks and Carl Reiner and, Barbra Streisand, people that I knew and worked with, and famous conductors like John Williams. I got a chance to hang out with him, and great musicians in general. Meeting Eric Clapton through the Blues Brothers, and just so many, B.B. King, just so many. One of the things that I did in 1969, Chicago is the home of the blues, as you know, mm-hmm. And up until that point, there had been nothing done to honor the great musicians who lived in Chicago. Mm-hmm. So, as you know, I was in politics in a small way. So I convinced the powers that be to come up with a budget, and myself and I think the most famous blues songwriter in the world, a guy named Willie Dixon, we got together. I had friends who worked at Chess Records, and Willie had produced, so many famous people and written so many songs that the Stones did, and he produced Chuck Berry. Anyway, Willie and I decided that we'd be a good team to put on the first free blues festival in the world in 1969. So it was great fun. It was lasted 8 hours long, and it kind of was the springboard for a lot of other free concerts in the Grant Park area. And since in 1968, there was so much animosity and bad blood because of the 68 Democratic Convention,
Mm-hmm.
the city fathers would go, well, this might give us a way to paint a better picture of Chicago. So that's what Willie and I tried to do, and met a lot of wonderful people. And later on, I produced another festival called Free Soul, and I got a chance to meet Booker T and the MGs. And of course, I worked with Duck Dunn and Steve Cropper and the Blues Brothers. And so I did that, and it was, the rest is history, I guess.
That is amazing, too. And what did the mayor think of you being in Second City, and how did he like your performances?
The mayor of Chicago, his name is Richard J. Daley, and he was always very, he had his critics, and I think some of them may be spot on. But he was very friendly to me and liked him. And when I bump into him, he'd say, Murph, what's going on? I was a little in awe of the guy because he's so powerful. But things are going good, and he liked very much the first blues festival because it was a success. Thousands of people show up, and so the city looked good.
That is amazing, too. And also, who are the performers at the first Blues Fest, and who are some of the unknowns at the time went on to be more famous right from the first Blues Festival?
Oh, absolutely. I just have a slight list here of the people who were there. Well, Ernest Cotton was famous, and Lightnin' Hopkins and Buddy Guy. And let's see, Little Milton, Victoria Spivey, Coco Taylor, Muddy Waters, Mighty Joe Gunn, Howlin' Wolf, Big Mama Thornton, John Lee Hooker, and that's about a fourth of them. So it was very successful.
Yeah, it sounds like it really good, too. So we'll get to the part on how you got on the Blues Brothers. But first, I'd like to remind everybody, listen to the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all you need. Looking for a professional website without breaking a budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the Mike Wagner Show page at Facebook, The Mike Wagner Show, and also online at themikewagnershow.com. You can also listen and download for free at SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. We're here with Murphy Dunne, keyboardist of the Blues Brothers, piano player, also an actor and accomplished voice actor as well, too, talking about his roots of Second City, Blues Fest, and everything else. And, of course, let's talk about the Blues Brothers as well, too. Of course, you worked with Booker T and the MGs with Duck Dunn, Steve Cropper, and many more. First of all, how did you get involved with the Blues Brothers?
Well, I think it's kind of a fascinating story. John Belushi and I were friends. I had done another movie with him called Old Boyfriends, in which I played keyboards. And then when Saturday Night Live was in its prime, he and Paul Schaefer put together this band where they did these funny songs and some great songs and sang them very well. And to say the least, I was a little jealous because Cropper and Dunn were in the band and so many other famous people. But it was Paul Schaefer's band, and he put it together for Saturday Night Live. Then what happened was they had got funding through Universal Pictures to do the movie. So they had a shooting schedule and the whole thing, and they were, you know,